Hi everyone, welcome to the Reflection series. This is where I talk about what I would do, how I would feel if I put myself in the hero's shoes. For today's episode, I will be taking the role of Rebecca Chambers in the game called Resident Evil Zero. Resident Evil is a franchise that's been around for many years, and it is under the genre of survival horror. So let's get started. It starts with you riding a helicopter in the middle of the night, and that in itself is already making me queasy because you just can't see anything. Something happens where there is damage in a helicopter and there is an emergency landing. You're armed and trained, and as a rookie, I am glad I am surrounded with a lot of veterans in the Special Tactics and Rescue Squad. My fear begins to increase very rapidly. And after me looking around, I find a clipboard with a profile of a guy named Billy, who is being escorted to the prison. I believe that he may have been the culprit given the rap sheet he has on his profile. After a little bit of talking it with the team, we decide to do an initial search of the area. I'm very much alone and afraid at this point. It's just me and my little pistol and a little light, not knowing where something or danger will come out to get me. At one point, I stumble across a train. Very oddly peculiar place to see a train just stopped in the middle of the area. And so I proceed to get on board. And so I go down one of the carts and I see one of the most grotesque looking things ever. A person with their body is completely deformed. It was something that I've never seen. It was so bizarre. It wasn't that they were unalived or anything like that. It was just more so like something made them sick, like some gas bomb or something. And soon after initially looking, I then see just the bodies getting up. And so applying my handy dandy training, I make quick work of these things. And at that point, I'm like, I think these are zombies. Clearly they're dead. And so something must be up. So I continue my journey down into the adjacent cart to see what else I can find. Everything is just destroyed. I'm just seeing bodies everywhere. Something is just not right. I let my guard down. Maybe it was a rookie move. And so Billy Cohen ended up getting a drop on me when I was in a more vulnerable position. Awkwardly enough, he didn't look dangerous. It was more so him just wondering what's going on, and it was the initial conversation. He decides to leave, and I see one of my colleagues, Edward, jump through the window, and now I'm just freaked out. He looks pale. He looks all busted up. He was saying something about monsters that there were zombies. He's saying something about the forest being full of zombies and monsters, and I'm like, no way. He passes away, and right before that, a dog just scared the crap out of me because it just jumped out of nowhere. So I have to make quick work of that. But still, like, what? These are some decrepit, ugly-looking dogs. What's done is done. So I just proceed to make my way. And again, I run into Billy Cohen, and he was pretty rude, talking down to me like I'm some kid, but I'm not. I am an officer in a highly trained team. However, he wasn't buying it. He was clearly making fun of me. And so I continue my investigation, and I see people just looking decrepit and sick. And the scariest moment was when that body just split and all these leeches come out. And so I wasn't scared of bugs then, but I am scared of bugs now, seeing how the body just split in two and then leeches were forming everywhere. I thought I was a goner, but thankfully Billy, he did save the day. I guess I gotta give him credit where credit is due. It's still really bizarre, like all those leeches at the same time just making their way. I would have definitely been a goner for sure. And as we're ready to move out, then we see this man out in the hilltop from the train, and soon after that the train begins to move. And so what the heck is going on? One, who started up the train? But all right, fine. I have no choice. A fellow colleague is passed away, and then you have these zombies, and then these zombie dogs, and then I have Billy, who's a wanted fugitive. I really have no choice but to partner with this guy so that I can at least survive. I think I'm beyond the point of trying to apply the law here, and so we form an alliance. He proceeds to double check a different part of the cart as I then proceed to check a different area myself. Luckily, the key I needed, he was able to find, and using the little makeshift service elevators for food, he was able to provide me the keys that I need. As I get the items I need to help Billy get out of the room he's in, I'm attacked by this giant freaking scorpion. So again, if I wasn't scared of bugs before, I'm sure as hell scared of bugs now, that's for sure. How the hell did this giant scorpion come out of nowhere? And then how did I not realize it? For the most part, I make quick work of it, so not a big deal. Eventually, we end up finding the key card to continue on to get to the head of the train to see maybe we can find the conductor. But something weird happens. We hear some gunshots and everything, and so someone activated a mechanism where the train was to speed up and eventually will cause it to derail. So Billy and I split up to be able to find the mechanism to apply the emergency brakes. And unfortunately, I see one of my STARS members, Edward, and he's exactly like those monsters, just a walking zombie, and doing the right thing, just having to put him down in order to fulfill my objective. Billy and I do manage to apply the brakes, but it was definitely too late. At the very least, at least some brakes were being applied so that, or else we really would have survived that crash. And eventually, long and behold, we end up in a research center, and I see a mural, and it is the same image of the monster thing slug that came out of nowhere in the train. So something's very strange going on here. We encounter still more freakish looking things, like these crows that somehow know how to attack you out of nowhere. And then we encountered these grasshopper things, but they're huge grasshoppers. So there's some just mechanism going on when it comes to the house in order to unlock the appropriate doors and find the appropriate keys. Unfortunately, in one situation, I got captured by a giant huge centipede. What the F, man? Seriously, somebody has a fascination with bugs or something. First leeches, then, or maybe animals in general. First leeches, then dogs, then centipede, then grasshoppers, then crows. However, Billy saves the day, him being well equipped with the rocket launcher that I was issued, so I can't complain about that. Eventually, we continue making our way around the house to just figure out a way to get out of here, and it's a lot of scary stuff that we end up discovering about the house and the company who's supposed to be a large pharmaceutical. We figure out a mechanism that unlocks, I guess there's a basement door behind the portrait, and after applying the right items to activate it, we have access to it. And again, big spiders. I will forever be scared of bugs. There's no way around it. And it's supposed to be the day number 1 on my job, or however many days. I'm still classified as a rookie. Mind you, I'm still a rookie here, and I am even amazed that I am surviving. However, the basement, what was going on down here? The tortured medieval devices. Seems like the area is very decrepit overall, and at one point I'm attacked by monkeys as well, and because the area is so old, a piece of the floor crumbled, and so I'm asking Billy for help. Thankfully, he comes through, or else I would have been a goner, and at least we have a break to think about what's going on. And I just had to ask Billy, what really happened? Did he really do it? Given everything that we've been through up to this point, I'm having my doubts. There's just something that I am sure that there's no way it could have been him. He isn't giving me killer vibes. or anything like that. Something is up. And so I asked him to tell me, and I think I made a mistake. Him being a military veteran, to hear what he went through in Africa and everything like that. Maybe I should have just never asked and respected that privacy. Like, I mean, how do you come out of that? Looking at the world a different way. And so that's a terrible regret. I should have just never asked him. And so we just continue on. Luckily, he was being cool about it and just said not to worry about it. And, you know, I did mean I'm not going to judge. At the same time, it is hard not to judge when you do something like that. At the same time, the circumstances of what happened, there's no way around that. There's no way. We still continue the journey on how to get out of the mansion. Eventually, we find these metal plates. And so we take those plates into an observation, seems like an observation lab with a giant telescope, and it causes the facility to shift down so that the exit is now going towards the church. So at least we're out of the mansion. To my surprise, I encounter a huge freaking bat. And the worst part, it was a bat with little baby bats everywhere. And man, like, I'm never going to the zoo. I don't want to see any animals anymore. No freaking way. No freaking way. Luckily, I get out of that ordeal, and eventually it allows me to figure out a mechanism to unlock the elevator to go down into the basement of the church. So was this just a front? Even in there, it's more monsters, more zombie things that are just coming out of the woodwork. And we learned more secrets about Dr. Marcus from what Billy was telling me. So I guess it may be that man we saw may have been like the son or the grandson of Dr. Marcus. Either way, we eventually find an air train, so hopefully that gets us out. Unfortunately, we were attacked by another dumb monkey and the leeches again. Luckily, I was able to make quick work and initiate the air train, and so now I'm going to another facility. At least I'm out of the mountains into a different area. I'm still continuing down this facility, and I get to a dead end, but eventually I run into the captain, and the captain tells me that he's surprised that no one else is here but me. He wants us to leave, but I don't want to leave Billy behind because he has been helpful. He has been keeping his word, and so I want to keep my word as well. I very, very, very much wanted to get out of here too. In good conscience, I just couldn't leave. I just had to stay, as much as it would have been the easiest thing to do to just leave. And so I continue on. I ended up finding a key to the elevator, and then I'm attacked by this humanoid looking monster thing with a big claw on its right hand. Well, both his hands were claws, but the right hand looked like it was like really, really meant for slashing and cutting. And it was just a behemoth looking thing. Luckily, I take it down, make sure to work with it, but I'm still trying to find Billy. And I find him, and then again, there's other monsters. I find Billy, and he was unconscious in the water, trapped in this rock in the river, and something causes him to get unstuck from the rocks and is being carried away more further. And so I just continue into this water plant area to make my way down to finding him. To my horror, it seems like this Dr. Marcus guy was still doing experiments. Like, man, what sick bastard can do such a thing? Why would he do such a thing? It doesn't make sense at all whatsoever, because it's so just inhumane. And this corporation is involved, which is a giant conglomerate. No way. So we still make our way through the area, trying to find an exit, and we encounter that humanoid monster again. I'm at least equipped with a partner, so not too bad, and we make quick work of it. We make our way through that corridor, and we run into the guy we saw earlier in the hilltop. He reveals to us that he is Dr. Marcus, and that he somehow created a virus that allowed him to come back to life. So that was very bizarre. It just transformed to this big ugly leech thing. Luckily, through the power of teamwork and being properly equipped, we make quick work of him, and so hopefully we find a new shaft that leads us to the surface. But the leech is still after us, and this time he's now bigger and meaner. And eventually we realize that in order to get rid of him, we need to bring in daylight. I guess the leech thing is weakness to sunlight. Maybe because it just stays in the darkness all the time. I don't know. And so either way, I'll take any chance I get because clearly nothing is working. And so Billy handles keeping the leech busy, and I work on opening the gate, and it works. I give Billy a new weapon and takes the final shot and takes it down. Somebody activated an explosion, and so it worked out that we got out in time. Finally made it. It was actually a relief, and to think that all that was just over one night. That was all just one night. Probably around 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, and just making our way out and just seeing the mansion from the hilltop. And is my career probably over? Maybe. But guess what? As far as I'm concerned, Billy is gone. He no longer exists. I just part ways and continue on, and hopefully I never have to deal with this again. If you were Rebecca Chambers, what would you do? How would you feel seeing all those grotesque monsters come out of the woodwork? From dogs, grasshoppers, crows, monkeys, lizards, frogs. I tell you what, I would be forever scared of the dark and forever scared of going camping in the woods ever again. And with that, folks, I hope you enjoyed the reflection series. Please don't forget to subscribe for more content. And until then, take care. Bye-bye.